Welcome to Star Stories, a collection of the moments that connect us all to something greater than ourselves, the night sky. This is Amy C. Oliver, visitor and Science Center manager at the Fred Lawrence Whipple Observatory, and your host. For some, a strong connection to the night sky doesn't start with a star, but with a person or even a telescope. Many of our listeners are familiar with and have met and even used Wilson, my grab-and-go Meade ETX 90 telescope, but haven't heard his own story. So, we are changing format and asking someone who really knows the history of Wilson, my dad. Now, because this is a micro-podcast, we're splitting the story across 2 weeks. This week, we'll learn how Wilson came to be a part of my family, and next week, the big reveal about his name. Here's Wilson's story, part 1.
Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about Wilson. It's always fun and interesting to have a member of my family participate in this podcast, and I think it not only sheds light on who I am as a person, but how I got into astronomy and how I kind of see the world. So thank you so much for being here.
You bet. Glad to do it.
The big question I've been getting lately is about Wilson. Now, Wilson is a member of our family, and he has been for a really long time. He's been in my charge doing education outreach for about 5 years now. So tell me how Wilson came to be in our family.
My astronomy partner, Mark Gomez, invited me to look through a telescope, an 80 millimeter refractor, while I was helping him repair some electrical that had been damaged by a storm. And it piqued my interest. I remember seeing an ETX 90, which is what Wilson is, made by Meade, in an outside magazine that somebody was using it as a telephoto lens. And so I went to an astronomy store known as Inkley's here locally in Salt Lake and talked with the Bill Cowles, who was the astronomy buff there, and he encouraged me to try a Moxitov Cassegrain, pardon me, which is Wilson. And I did, and that was the beginning. My friend and I started going out and looking at Jupiter and Saturn and the Lagoon Nebula and things like that. And I was hooked. That would have been probably right around 1999, the year 2000, right around there.
All right, so Wilson's 20 some odd years old.
Yeah, he's around 20 years old.
He's been doing astronomy a long time.
A long time.
20 years. That certainly is a long time for a small telescope like Wilson to bring the stars and planets to everyone he meets. We've reached the end of part 1 of Wilson's story. Tune in next week to hear how Wilson got his name. Star stories bring us together because they tell us something about ourselves. They let us know that no matter what is happening in the world around us, we all have something in common. Our awe for, wonder in, and appreciation of the night sky. To submit your own star story for inclusion in this collection, send 200 to 300 words detailing your first, best, or most important interaction with the night sky to whipplesciencecenter@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day, and as always, keep looking up.